You are now rocking with the best Illmatic Podcast with your host, Louis L. Reed. Surviving beats, overcoming breaks. We got motion. Your go-to podcast unpacking hip-hop, trauma, and transformation.
Yes, sir. This is your man, Louis L. Reed, back for another episode of Illmatic Podcast, Surviving Beats, Overcoming Breaks. Check this out. I got my brother in the building today. We are here with none other than, and I got to put some respect on his name. We are here with none other than Dr. Kendall Taylor. What's up, my brother?
Hey man, salute.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Salute, man.
It's good to have you on.
It's an honor to be here, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into it.
That's cool.
For those of you who don't know, Kendall is not just someone who's overcome beats and have survived life's breaks, but he happens to be the better half to someone that they may or may not have heard of. I don't know.
Yeah,
a young lady by the name of Fantasia.
My queen.
Yeah, that's your queen.
Yeah.
You're her husband. How's that going for you?
Never been better, man.
Yeah.
We just hit our 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Wait. You do understand 10 years in the arts and entertainment industry is like dog years.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
10 years, man. And I think we're doing good for two kids who got married after knowing each other for 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we met each other 3 weeks later. We were married, and we just hit 10 years.
That's what's up. That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
That is what's up, man.
That's my ace, man. That's my hitter.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
I love that for you, man.
I love that for me, too.
Yeah, I love that for you.
I love it for me, too.
I love that, man. Yeah. So when you think about 10 years ago, how different of a person are you now versus when you guys initially met, or just where you were in life 10 years ago?
Way more mature.
Mm-hmm. How so?
Because I know and understand and deal with my weaknesses and my insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
See, when I met her, I had, my business was doing incredibly well, had this facade, but I didn't realize until through the process of marriage, I was hiding behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Success can blind you from doing the real work that you need to deal with, and marriage has a way of turning down the noise and putting a real mirror in front of your face with no place to escape.
Yeah. So, we were talking off camera about how I asked you how family was, and you said that you're in a place of peace.
Yeah.
Right. You found that balance. And I was telling you, like, for me, I'm striving for that. I'm striving not to be a public success, but a private failure, and then trying to balance on the opposite end, how not to be a private success, but a public failure. And so how's that balance for you? Like, what does that balance look like? And obviously, like, there's scales, right? So sometimes, some days, some weeks, some months, it may tip to one direction versus in the other direction. Like, how does that look like for you?
For me, man, it's like we make the mistake as men oftentimes because we don't know, because we're judged and weighed on performance and what we produce.
Especially black men.
Especially black men. We don't measure ourselves correctly. But when it comes to a business, we're very careful how we scale the business. Don't grow too fast. Make sure you have a diverse product offer. Make sure your demographic research is in line. But we don't do that when it comes to our families. So what happens when you look up and see the balance sheet of your family's in the red? We don't attack it with the same zeal, the same tenacity, research and development we do our businesses. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And then you culminate that with the fact that me and my wife were forced to work together. We didn't design to work together.
You didn't?
Hell no. that wasn't a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wasn't trying to be goals.
Yeah.
I hid my face from the world. First of all, my wife told me to get an IG. I went on social media. My wife told me to get an IG, and we hid my face for a year. We just showed pictures of our hands, our feet, just to be married.
Yeah.
And so about a year later, man, I had issues with my business partners. She had issues with hers because together we had grossed $30 million within our first 3 years, but we couldn't even trade a car in to get the roof fixed.
Got it.
What people don't understand about our marriage is this for real, bro. Like, there was a time we couldn't go get caviar. We was going taking sandwiches from Jersey Mike's to the airport.
Yeah. Oodles and noodles, right?
Like, talk, bro, and then hopping in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my rider.
Yeah.
And so circumstances forced us to come together for a season to survive. I'm going to your point, to survive. But as we grew and started developing and diversifying, we kept those same habits. We didn't give each other leg room to go back to our original state of I stand on my mountain, you stand on yours, and collectively. And so that's why we're in such a place of harmony now, is because she's in her space, which I support. I'm in my space, which she support. And we're back to where it needs to be, because working together almost destroyed our marriage.
Yo, you teaching me something right now. It almost reminds me of, I have at least 2 or 3 friends. One who divorced during the pandemic because he and his wife, when they were working around each other or when they were working with each other, they realized that there were things about each other that
I ain't with it.
It wasn't rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
Once you get, I mean, you know how it is, and we're gonna segue into that. But you know how it is when you're in a cell, right? You got a cellie. You gotta basically like have the right cellie. You just can't bunk with anybody that's boundary.
Not that you got a choice.
Nah, right.
Not that you got a choice.
Right.
And marriage is a choice. That's the only difference. Is that every single day I wake up, I have to choose her. Every day that she wakes up, she chooses me.
Yeah.
It's not like you get married and that's just it. No, every day it's a choice. I can walk out here right now and be like, you know what? It's a choice.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of love. And what we have is that for 365 days times 10 years, we chose each other again. And I pray tomorrow she chooses me again.
That's what's up, man. 366 days in a leap year. Just keep in mind.
That must have been that year that we had that. It's a choice.
Yeah. You're teaching me something, man.
Criminogenic aspects of our past, man. You ain't had no choice.
Right.
There was no choice.
And so what was growing up for you like? Like what was your template? Like, how did you see marriage modeled, if you saw it at all?
Oh man, horribly. Like my mother looking for love, good woman, strong woman, intelligent woman. I watched men try to tear her down instead of leading at a level of higher intellect and wisdom and character. But I won't say which husband, but there was a husband in my past where crack came into the home, tore it up that way. And so a lot of struggling.
Both of my parents, and I don't know, like when you get over 40, you start getting sentimental. You start getting emotional.
Do. You want to be around your grandkids. And you want family moments. And like,
So I was raised by my maternal grandmother because both of my parents were incarcerated when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you about the love that my parents have for each other. My parents were married. My mother has 2 other children. I'm the youngest.
Okay.
And my dad has other children as well. When my father met my mother, there were no stepkids. There were none of that. My father raised my maternal siblings as if those were his own kids. Both of my parents, talking about ride or die, both of my parents did federal prison time when I was 5.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so when my mom came home when I'm about 10, here comes crack. So not only did I lose my mom to the criminal justice system,
I lost her again. Right? Like, thank God that, she's in full recovery now. Salute.
But she, her life was diminished due to crack. So I know what that's like to be in a house and to have someone who you think is supposed to be there to provide, to nurture, to protect, to be present, and that get
They're
high.
A zombie. That's a threat.
Exactly.
Yeah, instability.
Exactly.
So it's not that feeling of security. You feel what I'm saying? Moving up, packing up, going from one condition to another condition.
Yeah.
Watching my mama struggle, and we at the flea market on the weekends trying to sell anything that can be sold. Very grateful. She never let us really feel it.
Yeah.
But now when I look back, I don't know how she did what she did on that wage. I can't do the math.
Yeah.
I don't know how she did
math
it. I know for a fact there were days she did not eat.
Wow.
And so on Saturday mornings, there was this routine. Like, she would do whatever she could with us through the week, get us to the boys club, pick us up. The boys club was a safe haven. But on Saturday morning, that door was locked. And she was in there just reading these novels and just reading books, just trying to escape.
Wow, man.
You know what I mean? And we knew not to bother. We leave out,
that was her
come
time.
back in.
Yeah.
I didn't realize till I got older that that was the only way she could decompress. Now, this is a woman.
Yeah.
There's no covering.
Yeah.
There's no strong shoulder to lean on. There's nobody saying, I'm going to take that weight off of you.
Yeah.
There's no place to land.
Yeah.
She didn't have a place to land.
Wow, man. Wow.
She had a place to land. And we asking for things, and we don't know why we can't get the LA Gears, or why we can't get, why we pay less, and everybody got the Hirachis, and I got the Voights and the McGregors, and you know, I get it.
Yeah.
But she still found a way to some employee, her job, kids went to college, and she brought this big old bag of shoes, and I got me some Nikes.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it, man. I regret even to this day. And my mother works for me now. I was able to bring on board with me, increase her pay, rock out, but I still feel bad for some of the things I asked her in my ignorance.
You know, it's interesting. My son, I have a lot of children. I had 3 kids when I was 17 years old.
Where you at now?
Huh?
Where you at now?
I gotta do the math. 15 minus 3 divided by 4.
Carry the 2.
Carry the 2. Well, I remember when I went in, my son, you know, I had that brown paper bag under the mattress, drug money, right? And you can't compete with that when you're a single mother, and when that degree of resource is taken out of the picture, you just can't compete with it. Yeah. So I remember when I was incarcerated, my firstborn son, his mother brought him to Payless to get some back to school like sneakers, and he was like, "I'm not wearing those." He was like, "Daddy, if Daddy was here, I wouldn't have to wear those." And I remember the visit that she went to go see me on afterwards, and she described that, and she had tears in her eyes.
It's the side effects of hustling.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about
the collateral consequences of hustling, right? Yeah. It's not just you getting locked up, and it's not just you know, the baby mama got to go visit you, or, you know, family, right? It's that stuff. It's that stuff. It's that, you know, and I think about that, how even me, like being raised by my grandmother, you got to consider, like, I came up during a time when like crack was in its golden era.
80s, baby.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so I used to get mad at my grandmother. I used to be ashamed that my grandmother would show up. My grandmother was a nurse, lifelong nurse, right? But there was a generational disconnect. I used to be ashamed when she showed up at school because she wasn't fly like how my mom was, you know, right? Like, you this old lady showing up at school, and we going to the Goodwill, and my grandmother always had this thing where she made sure that I looked fly, but it wasn't in vogue. Yeah. You know?
And at that point in time, you realize that ain't your mama.
Right. You
could be a foster kid. You could be homeless. It's that distorted reality. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're ashamed of her, but she never showed the shame towards you.
Right. That part.
You know what I mean? She's supposed to be retired, chilled up, playing Yahtzee somewhere.
Right. You know, bridge
or something, whatever the case. But instead,
she chose to take care of me. She chose me. Just like how you're talking about with you and your wife, right? Like my grandmother chose me.
Woke up every day and chose you.
Yeah. I could have, me and my sibling, we could have been in foster care. We could have been in the system sooner. I could have been in the system sooner rather than later. But my grandmother woke up every day and she chose me.
That's real.
Yeah. Just like how your mom chose you.
All day.
And so when I think about your life, you were 15 years old when you had your first child, right?
I was.
That's when you pulled the strap out.
Yeah.
Start busting.
Yeah.
Wasn't no blanks.
I had Trey when I was 15. I ain't have another child till 25 years later.
What is it like for you to have a child at 15 years old? Like, what's the psychology around it? I got nephews and nieces that are 15, and I'm like, I forgot more than what you know.
Yeah,
facts. Right? You think facts. That you mastered the game. I forgot more than what you know. Yeah. And I'm thinking about you as a dad at 15 and me as a dad at 17, 3 times. I'm a dad 3 times at 17. What was that like for you?
Same as it was for you, trying to be something you haven't seen and have not received. I have no father. I've never seen a father modeled in the home. And here it is, I have this child. So I'm in such a dope place with Trey right now, so I can give you it in retrospect. First thing is embarrassment. You don't want to be that kid at school who got a kid.
Yeah.
You don't want to walk through the halls knowing you got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose your equity with the other girls and all that. It was embarrassment. And then the reality set in about responsibility. And so at 15 and a half, I first went and got a job.
Then you got a job?
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Got a job, started selling weed on the side.
Yeah.
And, you know.
To supplement your income.
I had to. I had to make sure, because my son stayed with his mother, make sure that her mother was taken care of. Make sure those ear infection medicines was there. Make sure I could drop that Infamil off on the porch at times when we weren't speaking.
Or that Similac, yeah.
I wasn't going to be like my father. Now, on the flip side, I'm still growing. I'm still exploring in the streets.
Yeah.
So I'm showing him everything wrong. I'm showing him things that later on in life I had to help him unpack because I'm exploring, I'm experimenting, and he's right there.
Right.
And so there's times, man, when I couldn't even go see my son. I was getting shot at so much and trying to switch cars to go get my son that for a while I had to back up out of it. Not really. I'm still out there wilding, man, trying to look for my daddy.
Right.
But I got a son looking for his daddy.
Yeah.
So I got it all wrong, man. Horribly wrong.
Wow.
Horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, there were several times that my son was around when I got arrested to the point that if an ambulance went by, he would break down crying in the car. He just knew it. There was times I got pulled over. My mama had to come get him. There was times I was at my baby mama house. Police came and took me. And so it got to a point if an ambulance or something went by, he would bust down crying in the back. And I had to pull over and talk to him because in his mind, that trauma, that trigger was they get ready to take my daddy again. So for so many different reasons, man, it became unsafe to even have him with me.
Yeah. Wow.
Not just from the violence, but man, just from the trauma.
Yeah, just that's that vicarious trauma.
Had to get my mama go get him.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, man. But I didn't know no better.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting how when we talk about like just the vicarious and the collateral impact of trauma, right? Like how that trickles down to our children. Like how that, bro, I had a conversation with my son the other day. And my son was going through some relationship issues with his squeeze. And I was telling him, I said, my son's name is Tariq. And I was like, Tariq, I said, do you realize that you were 28 years old and your girl is 27 years old? She has approximately maybe, I don't know, let's say 20 to 22 years worth of relationship experience on you. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, let's think about this. I said, little girls grow up
I'm with you.
and they're socialized to the notion of being in a relationship, right?
I'm with
your girl happens, come from a Hispanic home. So everything with them is, you got to clean if you want to keep a man. You got to cook if you want to keep a man. They're conditioned to that notion. They play with Barbie dolls. They do things that from a social perspective conditions them and grooms them into being in relationships. Here it is now, we come along 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, right? And we're not looking for a relationship. We want booty calls.
Kill, conquer, destroy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And by the time we get 21 and she talking about we need to settle down, we like talking about, what you talking about settle down? We only been together 3 years.
Yeah.
It's because it's about 18 years at that time of that social conditioning.
I agree.
Right?
I tell my wife, I don't tell her anymore, but I used to tell her, I said the happiness I bring to you was built on the back of many women that I have destroyed.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
The happiness that my wife now enjoys is built on the destruction of many other women. And so we teach a salute. There's 4 different seasons of process, and I ain't gonna go into
No. But I want you to talk about salute as well.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
But there's different seasons of potential, and anytime I'm talking to my daughter or niece, or I speak to groups of women, I say, be careful of what season of potential. I want to make sure I don't mess this up. What season of potential you catch that man in? I always had potential. You always had potential.
Yeah.
But if you catch a man in his transition season of potential, you become a part of his development, but you never get the reward.
And guess what? That in turns makes women mad because when he develops and gets with the next person, the last person is like, wait, I didn't groom this dude for you to leave me to go over with her? Yeah.
I know I messed a lot of people up because I have a public marriage. I messed a lot of people up when I got married and did the right thing.
Yeah.
Walking nobly, walking with integrity, walking with honor, playing no games.
Yeah.
Because who I was with 6 months before, year before, 2 years before, knew I had that potential.
Two weeks before, right? It could have been.
I wasn't rocking like that. Like I was in a more quiet place, man. But on one side, I'm saying, hey, it is what it is. My focus is on her, but I have a daughter now. I don't want my daughter to be a part of somebody's potential. their path to potential, forgive me. And so women will see men and say, yo, he got so much potential. He do, but you need to know what season he's in, because there's a season of potential where we explore our potential. Oh, they like that. Oh, they smelling that. Oh, okay. Oh, I get them with that. That's not the season you want to be there. You want to be in that place with that man in his season of potential where he knows who he is. He respects who he is. He invests in who he is. And he protects who he is. Because if he won't protect himself, what makes you think he gonna protect you? Nobody's thinking about that. If I'm out there in the streets and I'm taking penitentiary chances, I'm guns blazing and I'm wild and I don't care about no Fed charge, why would I care about your feelings, your emotions, and your destiny, baby girl? I clearly, based on the thing that you got to be careful because you attracted to it. You want that thug that's gonna act corporate when he come home. If you looking at my lifestyle, I'm showing you I will not take care of you because I haven't first learned how to take care of myself.
I feel like I'm in therapy right now.
Oh, my apologies.
No, keep it. Please, I don't have to bill you.
We looking, but we're not watching. We're so caught up in passions and pleasure. We're not watching. We're being honest every step of the way. We just don't want to see it because we want our pleasures fulfilled. So like we say a salute, too much comfort produces discomfort. And that's when you get in those places of discomfort, that comfort is produced. Learning how to be alone. Learning how to say no. I tell people all the time, man, I'm not saying no to you. I'm saying yes to myself. You heard me say no, but my soul heard me say yes. Getting into that place of that, man, I don't want to get okay.
Nah. Look, you onto something. When you just said a few minutes ago that you were in a quiet place prior to your engagement and subsequent marriage. What was a loud place for you like? Because you're justice impacted, right? Like you've been arrested, you done bust your gun, you done had guns bust at you. What did a loud place look like for you? And juxtapose that to what did that quiet place look like? And how did you get there?
Loud place, feeling like you got to be in the know. Not want to say no to not going here, going there, because you feel like you're going to miss something or be left out. Not being able to sit in your crib and have nothing playing. Got to have music playing. Got to have a TV on. Like noise. Not at peace with yourself. Running women in and out. Running women out while dealing with a porn addiction. Enough is never enough. A quiet place looks like, I love me enough to know my value. See, women are raised that don't give yourself away. Maintain your chastity and your virtue. Man, when you as a man get to a place to realize, hold on, I know my worth. I know what my seed is worth. I'm going to stop laying around and laying down because I done worked hard, built this business, overcome my circumstances, man, broke outside of the jurisdiction of my limitations. No, I know my value now. You ain't worth me sleeping with you. That's a powerful place to be in.
That's very powerful.
That's the place I was in when I met my wife. I try to give my wife every single reason why I'm not the dude you need to be with. So our first date didn't look like first impressions, and this is why we fell in love. Our first date was trading war stories and trauma stories. And well, this is what happened to me. Well, they took this from me, and this is what I went through. This is what I put myself in a predicament. That's what our first date looked like.
You know, I can almost see you, like both of you guys, just in my creative imagination. I see you with a do-rag on, and I see her in a bonnet. Y'all traded war stories.
I'm suited and booted by then. Like I'm worth something now. I'm doing my thing, man. But I had gotten so deep into a place of protecting myself that I wasn't. And I know it sounds weird because they'd be like, "Then you got married 3 weeks later." I'm like, but I married the way she looks at me, man. It wasn't about all this other stuff because that made me super nervous, man. That made me super nervous. But the way she looked at me, I just did not want her to look at another man like that ever again.
What does a look from your woman, what does that do for you as a black man? When you have your woman, when you have a black woman like your mom and like, the other women, even the other women by whom you didn't show up as the best version of yourself with, right? Like when they looked at you in a way that kept you buoyant, even when you were drowning in something.
I got a better example, man. When I lost my company because of 2% interest, I lost my company that I built, and I went through a depression. Because as felons, man, I'm a 3-time felon. You don't get with so many opportunities, right? And I built this one from the ground up. I'm talking about from sweeping floors to closing $1 million deals. And when I lost my company, I went through a depression, man. But every day she looked at me like I was still attractive. She looked at me like I was still her king. She still came to me for advice. She didn't make me feel insecure by her success. Like that moment to me, it brought me back to life. Cause all I'm thinking in my head as a felon is I can't go knocking on doors.
That's right.
No more. I'm not doing this shit no more. Forgive my friend.
No.
I can't.
Yeah.
I might have to.
Yeah,
but it's,
in the moment
mind, I can't.
Yeah.
But her love called me up to see other potential I had in myself, man. And I will always be loyal, defend, and lay my life down for that black woman, man.
Yeah.
Because of the way she looks at me.
Yeah. That's what's up.
The way I tell all the time, she give me, I say, if I ever catch you looking at another dude like that, you can look at him, smile at him, but it's a certain look where I know her little girl has come out.
Right.
That's mine.
Right.
That's mine. I don't care about you flirting, sticking your tongue out on stage, taking pictures at the meet and greet. But that little girl in you, that's me.
That's mine. That's mine.
That's me. Because I got to share a lot.
Yeah.
But that little girl in you, that's me.
So I'm, when you say that you have to share a lot, what is it like for, because the roles are reversed now, right? Like the gender roles are reversed. From a different perspective, like sometimes the financial roles can be reversed, right? Like depends on who's up or who's down. What is that like for you?
It depends if you're asking me now or if you're asking me 3 years ago.
I want the 3 years ago. Let's talk about like overcoming beats and surviving those breaks.
I'm gonna keep it all the way funky with folks because I ain't comfortable in lying. I went from getting married to my wife, making the exact same amount of money. We had to pull it out because we got married so quick. Everybody was like, and I said, no, I got to protect me too.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know this. I asked for the prenup. I asked for it because I wanted to protect my partner shares and things I had. I went from that to having nothing. But at the same time, she went to having nothing. So then we built Rock Soul together and built it. But in my mind as a man, the way I am, I'm like, it's our company. Yeah. But it's, you know what I'm saying?
It's something to,
so keep it G. I made it difficult for her at times.
Yeah.
She's always like, this is ours. I couldn't have did this without you. You couldn't have did this without me. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm always going back to where we met when I was standing on my own.
Let me tell you something, bro. Let me interject this, though. I want you to hold that.
No, I ain't got it.
When I came home from prison after 14 years in federal prison, right? Before I went in, I was up, right? When I come home, I got nothing but the yay and amen premises of God. That's it. I get with someone who I knew since I was 10 years old. And we end up getting married. She bought a house. Probably over the course of, I can't tell you how many years, I basically lived out of a suitcase. And then one day she's like, how come you ain't never unpacking all your stuff? And we had a conversation. We had to unpack that. And I was telling her, I was like, I don't feel like this is mine. Yeah. She's like, but this is yours. But I'm like, I don't.
Women think different, man.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't feel like this is mine. Yeah. And at any given point in time, right, not only was am I decompressing from being incarcerated, but I'm like, at any given point in time, you can put me out because this ain't really mine. So I gotta pack light, right? Like I'm taking my stuff. I got them in bins.
I want to poke that.
Yeah, go ahead.
But what you may not have realized, and I can only talk about through my own experience, the suitcase was a metaphor because I'm pretty sure in other emotional areas, psychological areas, romantic area, intimate areas, you still had your suitcase packed.
I did.
Because I tell people all the time, if I get in your car and your car dirty, your house going to be dirty.
Yep,
your business going to be dirty. Your cash flow analysis is going to be dirty. It translates, same as weakness or lack of discipline. So that suitcase where you were reluctant, resistant, and withdrawn had to express itself in other areas. She pointed out the tangible because she was crying out for the intangibles.
Hey, let me just publicly fire my therapist right now. Are you licensed to practice in the state of North Carolina or Connecticut? I'm gonna take you with me everywhere I go.
That's why I tell people all the time, man, where I think I do great at and have the most impact is I don't hide behind my weaknesses. I lead from my own trauma. I did a podcast yesterday. Podcast was overdone. We spent more time talking about marriage and me telling them, don't do this. I did that. Don't do this. Because we ain't got no roadmap for this. Where's the book of how to be a great husband in today's paradigm with the feminist movement and all this other stuff going on? How do you be a husband?
Add to that. How do you be a husband after 14 years in federal prison when you literally are going from one institution into another institution within 6-7 months of being
It's hard
released
to
from
trust
incarceration.
yourself.
Exactly.
It's hard to trust yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we have to get into that place, man.
Yeah.
Because people are dependent on us. And so when it comes to how much I share with my wife, I share my wife with the world. Like, y'all not gonna go to my page and see what I'm eating today. You're not gonna see what car I drive.
Yeah.
I bought a new watch. I took a trip. That's none of your business. My wife share those things because now celebrities have to. It's not like back in the day where you got an album, you got the booklet, and that's all you got inside of it.
And you see the honorable mentions, right? Like,
That's it.
she knows,
and the thank yous in the back. That's all you used to get.
Yeah.
Now they want more and more and more.
Yep.
And so I share my wife to a great degree, but what I find comfort in is that she cuts it off. That's where my peace comes from. I don't have to deal with it. The moment the lights go off, 30, 40, 50, $80,000 people, she comes off stage and asks me, what do I need? How am I doing?
That's good.
That wife kick right back in. She goes on stage, that alter ego kicks in. And so I applaud her for making my job easy. I don't have to worry about the insecurities of what's in the DM or who's going to be in her face or whose studio she's working in. Because when I know she surrendered to God, I'm covered under that umbrella.
Amen.
And she don't bring that nonsense home.
Amen.
She don't bring it home. That's what we meant by the book title, No Crowns in the Castle.
Yeah.
Yes, I do this when I go out and I trailblaze it. But when I come home, she ain't trying to hear none of that. You better talk to me with some respect. You better help me with these kids. You better, things that I do naturally.
Yeah.
But we turn that off. And that's why our home is the Mecca. Our home is the temple. It is the place of serenity because we don't have to be none of that. Her hair ain't got to be done. She ain't got to have no lashes. I ain't got to make sure I got a clean beard that I did for y'all for this podcast. I ain't shaved my hair in 3 days, and she still want to make love to me.
That's right. That's right.
We're not going to lose that.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think everybody noticed. We hit 10 years. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Did we post it?
Not at all. I didn't see it.
Did we post anything? We said, look, let's keep this in for ourselves. Let's have some real conversation. Let's unpack some things. Let's get some assumptions and misunderstandings out the way. So we're going on a date tonight. We're going on our first date tonight.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
We're going on our first date tonight.
Yeah.
Because what my wife needed in 2014 is not who America's most influential black woman, NAACP award, Hollywood Walk of Fame. She don't need from me today, and I don't need the same. Right. So tonight, I'm going to take her out on a date and see who she is and what she needs for these next 10 years and be able to tell her what I need the same.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you as a dad now?
Boy, I'm about to cuss.
Yeah.
I'm phenomenal now.
Yeah.
But I salute my oldest son, Trey. My oldest son, Trey, made me the great father that I am because he gave me the gift of forgiveness.
How so? How was that?
Man, he became a man himself with the married to the woman of his 2 children. Phenomenal dad. And he gave me the grace of forgiveness, understanding that I was 15, 16, 17, 18. I didn't know because me carrying that guilt and shame was still hindering me from being as explosive as a father to all of our kids that I could have been. But him giving me that gift of forgiveness gave me that healing that I needed to know that I can be a great dad, that that's what I was. That's the way I did do it. So now, man, like we tap in all the time. He wants to share all his successes, get advice. Dallas feels like nothing in the world is better than me. Zion feels like I'm a safe place. And when it comes to Keziah, the one me and my wife birthed during COVID, I'm doing everything right that time.
That's right.
If I'm home, there's not a single night I don't put her to bed. There's not a single night I don't pray over her. There's not a single day I don't hug her and hold her and tell her I love her. If I'm walking from this side of the house over to my office and I see her, I stop, kiss her, let her know you can come, as long as I ain't on the Zoom, you can come interrupt. You got access to me. I've learned that. And so through my mistakes with Trey back in 2016 to now, I'm a phenomenal father.
I love that, man.
And I'm proud of myself for breaking that. What my father didn't know, his father didn't know his father. I had to be the one that it was broke on my back. And now my son is a father to his sons who gonna be fathers to their sons.
Yeah.
So with me, it stops and it begins.
I told my son that my son at his age is a better father to his son than I was
absolutely
to him.
Trey killing me to this day.
Yeah. Running circle,
killing me.
And
I said, we got more money than you, bro. Y'all going more trips.
Yeah.
Than, we be busy, but Trey's killing it as a father.
Doesn't that feel good though?
It do.
It feels good.
And every benchmark I've done in life, man, he's killing it. He's 28. At 27, I got out of Oconee jail down in Georgia and started with nothing. And now he done got more bonuses in the past 90 days. I said, you are ahead of me. And that's what any loving father wants for their son.
At 28, I was 4 years on a 16-year federal prison bid, right? Damn. Like, having been indicted for, alleged homicides and, things of that nature, right? Like, so it makes my heart dance. Yeah. When I look at my son and I see the father that he is and I see how he's trying to show up as the best version of himself, every day. Yeah. I always tell him, like, your barometer is not me, right? Like your barometer is you showing up the way that you show up. My dad, in 2021, my dad was assaulted and ultimately he lost his life. My dad was on his way to Juma. He had withdrew $400 from an ATM. A kid in the neighborhood by whom he would always give money to, ask him for money. And my dad said he didn't have it. And so the dude hit my dad in the back of the head with a brick. And for 2 weeks, my father fought for his life. And my dad passed away the day before Mother's Day in 2021.
Damn, bro.
Yeah. I love my dad. Like when I say I love my father, like I love my dad. Like I don't use the past tense. I love my dad. And even though my dad was one of them type of dads where it's like, if I was going to get busy on somebody, right? Like my dad was like, don't believe in codependence, right? Because my dad came from that life, and I love my dad. But, going back to an earlier point that I was going to make about my parents, my mom remarried. I love my stepdad, who incidentally is doing a federal prison bid right now himself, 5 years. The night my father passed away, my siblings were there. I was at the hotel, get a call for me to go back because my dad was, fading out. And literally, everybody walked out of the room except my mother and except his brother. The moment that my oldest sister walked out of the room, my dad took his last breath and my mother was there with him, beside him. So the love that they had for each other, even though life circumstances drifted them apart, right? They still were cemented with one another. And I hold on to that. And I was telling my son recently, like, no matter what the situation or circumstance is with your son's mother, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't co-parent. That's right. It doesn't mean that you can't, you guys can't, love each other, right? It may be that you can't love each other enough to be with one another, right, but love can still prevail. Yeah. And so, by you just seeing your heart light up, in talking about your daughter and talking about, your children, that makes my heart dance. And it gives me strength and it gives me encouragement to not just pass that transferable truth on to my son, but to also continue to show up to be a better father as well.
Man, I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
That you haven't allowed, brothers like us, man, on paper, our behavior would be justified if we chose to do X, Y, Z, right? It's justifiable. But instead of it letting it become a part of the fabric of our character, man, we use it as a catalyst to do something with that pain, do something with that trauma, because you got to do something with it.
We got to do something with it.
You got to do something with it.
Because, or it's going to do something with us.
It's going to do something to you.
Yeah.
It's going to do something to you. And so, I appreciate that salute, man. And like I said, I couldn't do it without my wife. And I think one of the biggest benefactors that I have in my life is the mission, because when you go from prison to disadvantaged community to home, that can throw your paradigm off. So I'm constantly reminded that the things that I have, the things I share with my wife, it's not as common as it should be. The things that I'm able to experience with my children and the times that I have with them, it's not as common as it should be. And I'm glad that I have an opportunity to code switch from light to dark, so that number one, I never take advantage of what I have, but I also don't get so comfortable in what I have that I don't forget that somebody right down at the stop sign or at the stoplight is suffering. And so I get both perspectives every single day of my life. I can have a call where one of our boys just got killed and then my wife is celebrating a great opportunity. I can have a day where I'm celebrating a great opportunity and then I hear about something going on in one of the prisons, right? And so I stay in that balance, man, of my reality and somebody else's reality. And I hope it's making me a better leader and a better representation of this mission so that I don't get caught up. Because one of the key things people ask me, and I get it, when I go into these areas, they be like, you don't have to do this. What makes you, I hate this. What makes you come down here? And
what makes you come back?
I say, what leads you to believe I ever went up? You're looking at things. Don't miss me. I made a promise to the Most High, and I'm gonna honor that promise no matter where it takes me. And there's many days my wife is worried. If I leave to go service my mission, a lot of times I'm going 3-4 days or a week out the month. That's 3 months out the year. I'm not present at my house. I believe in this mission. I would never be satisfied being kicked up. Man, she's a celebrity, not me. I'm married to her, so you get that guilty by association. But I'm not her, so I don't have to give you what she has to give you. I don't have to let you into what she's let you into. I've had IG since 2014. I've never gone live. For what? For what? If I go live, I'm gonna show you my boys. I'm gonna show you what's. And if you come to my page, you're gonna see I love my family. You're gonna see I'm about my mission. Anything else is none of your business. I'm never going to lose sight of that. And I think that keeps a balance in my whole life to where I can see her do a show and it's phenomenal. But how can we get into another prison? How can we get into another school?
So let's talk about, going from prison to a PhD, right? So to speak.
I want to clear something up, man. First of all, I've never been to prison. Right? I've been in and out of jail multiple times. I think the longest I had to sit was 6 months. I've done 17 years probation from supervised to unsupervised to where brothers tell me all the time, they be like, why don't you just go activate your time?
Wait, hold up, time out. So the work that I've done previously, specifically around policy reform and an organization called Reform Alliance.
That's what I mentioned.
Co-founded by Jay and Meek. And their mission is to, highlight the inequalities and, quite frankly, the disparities around people who are under supervision. You are married to one of the culture's brightest lights from an artist perspective, from a personality perspective. Everybody sees a reflection of themselves in Fantasia, right? And here it is. You've been on supervision 17 years.
I got all papers about the first time I ever voted in my life. I went with my wife. First time I was able to cast a vote, my wife went with me. It was a big moment. I ain't have my rights, so I never voted. So she went with me. I got all papers.
Wow.
I closed my first $1 million deal on probation.
On probation.
Still snuck away to the Bahamas, still snuck away to Puerto Rico. Anyway, I ain't need a passport. But I also always live with that anxiety that if I make one.
Talk about that anxiety. I call it, I often refer to it that it's a nightmare that makes Elm Street look like Sesame Street in comparison.
That's why a lot of dudes be like, I don't want probation, go activate my time. I felt like I'd rather try to navigate through these parameters than to just tap out and not be there for my son, not try to see what I could create. Now, there was some days I was like, maybe I should activate it.
Wow.
But I'm glad I didn't, because I was able to still experience some things and be present. But
do you know what 17 years? I'm still stuck on that 17 years.
17 years, multiple different charges, but 17 years from the time I turned 16 to the time I turned 30, 32, 33, 34, somewhere around there, I only had 1 year where I was not on probation.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You talking about a boogeyman.
Checking in every month, piss test, popping up at your place, popping up at your job. You know what I mean? But that's behind me now.
Yeah. So to go from, so to speak, figuratively speaking, from prison to a PhD, right? Like, from having been justice impacted, the prison portion of it, to receiving an honorary doctorate degree. How validating was that? Is that?
Let me answer this. I'm a nerd with tattoos. When you talk about validation, I hear who I was from my clique, who eventually set me up to get shot. I still got a bullet in my lung from that incident.
Yeah.
But
wait, I want you to skip over that. I got shot when I was 14 by somebody who was 25.
I got shot when I was 16 by somebody that was 24.
I still have a bullet in between my heart and my spine.
I got a bullet in my left lung.
We can't even go get an MRI without that bullet prospectively migrating.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Like this is where we come from, bro.
Yeah.
Think about this.
Yeah.
This is the situation and circumstances in life where we come from. Go ahead, man. Just
I used to hide my intelligence to fit in. So I'm not one of them dudes like to play video games. I don't knock nobody who do. It's a gamer word out there. We're going to be teaching gaming at our pathway centers, right? But I'm not a gamer. I'm a reader. I like to study. I like poetry. I like chess. I like fine arts. I like these things.
Yeah.
But that ain't always welcomed in the hood. And so for many years, I hid my true reality of who I was, but I still read my books. I still learned. And I think one of the benefits of me getting kicked out of school so many times.
Not because you were intellectually challenged.
It's just because I was socially insecure. And to have this affinity for stoicism and reading and strategies and psychology, never knowing what I was going to do with it. Many days my wife used to come home and be like, why are you reading that? I don't know. I buy books more than I buy Jordans. You know what I'm saying? And so to get the honorary meant so much to me, man, because I was taking these years of feeding myself knowledge and taking online courses for what reason I had no idea. Right. And a lot of people don't know. I got 3 honoraries that same year. I got 3.
3.
I just took the first one who came to me because you saw it in me first.
Yeah.
But I got 3.
Wow.
I got 3 the same year. So for me,
you're talking about more degrees than a thermometer. That's something.
I didn't need to go show up and get 3. And I was like, give it to somebody else. But it felt amazing to receive that level of validation for the work that I put in, because I'm a firm believer that a lot of people who get a diploma, a master's, they stop right there.
Yeah.
I've done enough. And because I never had that certification of validation or accomplishment, I never feel like I've done enough. I never feel like I accomplished enough. I got, if I pull up my Amazon app right now, you're going to see an air fryer that I'm debating on buying, and you're going to see several books that I'm going to get because I love it. And so for me to now be in my safe space and stand on intellectualism and wisdom, it means the world to me.
That's what's up.
Because I almost lost my life trying to be something that I wasn't.
That's right.
And this has created a new life for me that's birthing life in other people. So I'm honored to have it.
I love that.
I'm honored to have it.
I love that.
And all it is like I ain't mentioning it like you did it. I don't greet you. Ain't gotta greet me with that nonsense.
Yeah,
but it opens doors.
It
to give me access to go steal what I need to steal for the ostracized and the disadvantaged and the mark. So for that sense, I'll rock with it. But I ain't Dr. Taylor at the house. I'm Kendall who got an honorary.
You boo. I'm you dad.
But I stick it up there so you give me your consideration. And so it's opened up different doors and it's given me a respect. But here's the thing. A doctor can have his, I don't know what you call a surgeon, what they get, but he still got to operate on your heart correctly.
That's right.
Now I got my certificate, I got my whatever they get in their space, but I can still slice your brain and leave you paralyzed. So I got the doctorate, but I still got to carry myself right in those rooms.
That's right.
I still got to build sophisticated systems and programs. I still got to have a level of relationship management that code switches from a correctional officer to a superintendent to a pastor that you can't take away from me. And so I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you, man.
I appreciate it.
Look, we got to close out.
Already.
Let's close out with some hip hop. Who's your top 5?
Woo.
Top 5.
Woo. I'm going through my playlist right now, and I always go back.
Okay.
I gotta give it to Pac because that's just
Pac over Biggie.
I don't do that.
Nah,
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I think with Pac, he showed me that, man, you can be relentlessly passionate about something. Biggie show, who's in the top 5, man, their storytelling has a place.
Yeah.
Storytelling has a place.
Biggie was our generation's version of Slick Rick.
All day long.
Yeah, right. Like being able to like
all day long.
You know, create imagery
all day long
through lyricism. Yeah. You know, like that's who Big was. Big was like a 2 point, a heavier Coogee wearing black 2.0 version of Slick Rick.
Everybody love the big fella.
Yeah. Who else?
With Pac, he made it comfortable to be in your suffering. It wasn't the glitz and the glamour. He got there, but he made it cool to be in your suffering, and it resonated with people.
Yeah.
So I got to throw those two in there. I'm going to have to throw Jay in there because of the business sense. He woke up a lot of people to understand that you need to capitalize off you. I'm validating these men as artists. I don't know them as men. I don't know them as fathers. I don't know them as whatever.
Yeah,
but his contribution to hip hop was helping people understand. It wouldn't have been cats out here running their own labels.
That's right.
You know, he had to get rejected to be able to create that. He opened our eyes to our talent. After that, not because it's a wave ride, I throw Kendrick in there because I love poetry.
Okay.
I love the fact that he takes the science and the algorithm of hip hop and keeps that in front of us. Otherwise, being dumbed down and it would just become too normal. And I like that he's able to do that. My fifth.
Yeah. That's coveted.
Ooh.
This your Mount Rushmore.
This is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would say I'm gonna give it to Wayne.
Wayne?
I was going to go Nas. I was going to go Jada.
That's a first. That's a first.
That's the typical.
Yeah.
Wayne's work ethic. Wayne's work ethic, and I'm in Louisiana. Like what he did, that sound wasn't accepted. See, people look at Wayne now, but you got to remember when he did it.
Yeah, when he did it.
That boy was 12 years old.
Yeah.
My son Dallas is 12.
Yeah.
He ain't fitting to put together no 16s of that caliber in any kind of way. So we've gotten so used to him, we forget what he did.
Yeah.
When the Rockefeller tour came through back when the Coliseum was over there off of Billy Graham, and you had Rockefeller, Cash Money, that boy was 13 years old. And his songs is the one that made you go up. Don't sleep on that man's impact.
Yeah.
That'd be like somebody 15 running for president and you thinking about voting for him.
Yeah.
That's why I got to give it to Wayne.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna let him, bow out because we got used to Wayne now. We expect it. The boy was 12.
Yeah.
Who else did it at 12 years old?
I didn't think about that. It's almost like how like Mike being as young as he was, or Usher,
that's
right?
it.
Like it's
he
like
up
that.
there with the Cher and Bono, whoever
Sonny
and
Cher,
and he's rocking.
Yeah,
he's dominating.
Yeah.
He's shifting the attention and the perspective.
And
this is Mike.
Yeah,
that's
and you
what
just
Wayne
get
was
so
for
used
hip-hop.
to. Yeah, you get so
used to it. You expect Mike to be Mike.
Yeah,
but Wayne was 12 years old.
You reframe my thinking around.
And
Wayne.
when Bling Bling came out, and the block is hot.
Yeah,
he was a child. He was going through puberty.
Yeah,
and he's up there with Jay. Let's not take that man flowers because we become accustomed to his greatness.
Say less, man. Yo, this is your man, Louis L. Reed. Another episode of Illmatic Podcast, Surviving Beats, Overcoming Breaks. I'm here with Kendall Taylor. Until next time, be easy. Peace.
Salute.
Until next time, like, subscribe, share. Illmatic Podcast, Overcoming Beats, Surviving Breaks. See you next time.